GM, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Wake and Shake. Appreciate you guys rolling through bright and early here. We are going to, as always, look through everything that's going on this week, stuff we missed from last week, pick apart macro, where to allocate funds. If you're so inclined, of course, remember the show is rated NFA, not financial advice. Always make your own decisions. We just want to get the conversation going. And as always, reminder, the show is open mic. So if you guys want to jump in at any time, ask questions, give takes, you're more than welcome to do so. We encourage it actively. With all that out of the way, we can go ahead and get into this week. I've got my my co-host here, Mr. Jake and Bake. How are you doing today, sir? How was your week?
It's been a good week for the most part. Had a good weekend, touching some grass, had a buddy's wedding I went to. Um, Had a rough start this morning though. I spilled hot coffee on myself just like a half hour ago. That was not fun. And that was actually first time I've ever done that. It's almost like an initiation for coffee drinkers, I think.
Yikes.
Probably some part of the club, but that was not fun. It hurt and it was a mess to clean up. But
Well, it sounds like a lawsuit, man. Who made the coffee that hot and gave it to you? That is just messed up.
well, I can't really sue myself, so
Ah, shit. All right. Yep.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
Uh,
how that works legally. We'll have to figure it out after the show. But sorry to hear that, man. But
I'll sue Nespresso. There we go.
how dare you make this delicious hot temperature? Oh, yeah, that's rough, man. I'm sorry to hear that. But happy you had a good week, man. Yeah, it was kind of a weird one for crypto. I've been a little unplugged just because we left the show bullish. Well, relatively bullish. Things were looking good last Monday, and we left the show feeling good. And then very quickly, it was all over, and now we are so back as things usually go. So we'll be interested to hear what happened there, or if it was just expected and business as usual. But yeah, we got some other stuff to talk through. We can check back up on our over under game after you go through macro, see how you did. But excited to hear your takes, man. So talk to us about the market in general, macro, Bitcoin. What are you seeing out there?
We saw interesting, like you said, a lot of bouncing around from macro perspective. It wasn't looking great. Um, Last week, to start off for a bit, we dropped under 50K, bounced back up to like 55 or so. I think was when that we recorded the show. Dipped back down around like 50K or so again, and has since had a real nice pump over there. We're around 60K as we're talking right now for Bitcoin. I think we're a lot of stuff's playing around the macros kind of look similar. We've kind of been following the stock market um, a good amount here with our price action. Um, there's been a lot of uncertainty with the war, Middle East war stuff. There's been the Japan rate hike, which they have since I actually I need to look in this a little more. I know they reversed their decision. I don't know if that means that they're lowering their rate back down or that they're just saying they're not going to hike it anymore. I couldn't get clarity on that in the very quick time that I attempted to Google it. Um, and then there's been talk about, lowering rates here in the U.S. for the first time since COVID, and it seems like from asked Shaggy, our macro expert, on his opinion, since he's been pretty dead on in the past. He said that it's like pretty much a certainty that they're going to lower rates or cut rates in September meeting, with a good chance that it's cut by 50 basis points instead of like the incremental 25 basis point cut. So that'd be really nice. Um, to loosen up those high rates for us. It doesn't seem like we'll get an emergency rate cut. Shaggy was saying that we wouldn't even want that because that would mean that shit has hit the fan. So it seems like we're trending towards a September rate cut, which would be really nice for the market. Hopefully, spurs some more activity, some more risk on factors for helping us trade and invest and helps overall crypto stuff. Um, just kind of give a recap of where we are from last. Sorry, I just got disconnected there for a second. Um, Bitcoin's up 10.5% on the week. ETH's up 10.9% on the week. Solana's up 12.6%. We're seeing, let's see here. We're seeing a couple notable headlines, not a crazy amount. There's been some stuff out of Russia that was interesting. They're kind of like really starting to uh, get into the crypto world again. Over this past couple of weeks, they legalized Bitcoin mining. Here, I'll post a little couple articles on that if you want to read more. But they legalized Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency mining over this past week, and then I think a little less than like 2 weeks ago, they also are allowing crypto payments to be payments to be settled in crypto for international trades. They have a lot of sanctions around them with the war going on. So I don't know if it moves the needle a ton, but it's good to see. Like Russia's obviously a big country. It's at least good to see more demand coming for crypto in general. And then let's see here on Bitcoin. It's kind of in I'm not really sure area. It's looking like I'd say right now I'm like cautiously optimistic. It's nice that we kind of retook that 60K level, 58 to 60K level. I think here I'm gonna try and find, I don't have this tweet lined up. Don Alt's analysis. Here we go. He basically is saying like it's okay, but it could be better. Resistance for Bitcoin's around, like 60 to 63K. Support is around 52K. So hopefully we can get over that resistance here for Bitcoin and ideally start going back up. But right now it's still like not really sure. Cautiously optimistic is how I'm feeling on the Bitcoin front. I'll stop there for a second.
Got a question for you on the Russia stuff. Do you think you have opinion either way? You think it's good, bad, or indifferent for the reputation of Bitcoin if a country that is getting more sanctioned is like, you know what, we're all about crypto now? You know what I mean? Like, does that speak anything towards like the decentralization or like the reputation of Bitcoin in your opinion, or just no change? I mean, it's doing what it's supposed to do, right? But do you think people could fud that?
I mean, they might. I could see like politician talking point maybe on it, but I don't see like in my opinion, like it doesn't really matter. It's kind of just like, yeah, anyone can use it, right? So that means even bad actors can use it too.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
it's kind of the nature of it, right? It's just how the technology works.
For sure. Yeah, just I saw an article and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And I was like, "Wait, isn't that cool?" And I was like, "Let me ask." Yeah, I'm with you though. It's just doing what it's supposed to do, right? It's indifferent to your ethics.
Right. Yeah, I wanted to talk about Ether real quick. We talked about last week how the ETF was playing out versus Bitcoin, and it was looking pretty similar in terms of on first launch. For the first couple weeks after the Bitcoin ETF launch, it had pretty heavy outflows from the Grayscale Trust, and as a result, at least attributing partly to it was the price went down for those couple weeks as well. And once outflows subsided, I started to see really nice net inflows into the ETF as there was less Bitcoin to be sold, and we've seen the same thing play out pretty similarly now with the ETH one, where there was heavy outflows at first with the Grayscale, and those outflows have now slowed down over the last couple weeks. And it's starting to reverse. There's still not. It's still like pretty even, I think. Let me see. Here's a good dashboard I'm going to post in the voice hangout chat of the ETH ETFs and how they're looking so far. Also post this chart too from this dashboard. It's like the net total flows. It gives you kind of really quick good glance. See, we're basically at zero at the moment. If you look at this chart with the net flows, meaning there's like inflows and outflows have essentially equaled itself, but we're trending up. Um, and we're starting to see price trend up a bit too in ETH strength. As we said, this if there's going to be any time for ETH to show its strength, it's gonna be now after the Grayscale ETH has been dumped, and we're actually seeing institutional money come in on the ETH front as they look to add to their crypto portfolio, or they want to diversify their crypto portfolio, have ETH as a part of it as well. So we're seeing some strength there. It's only like slightly ahead of Bitcoin on the weekly, but at least on the daily, in the last 24 hours, ETH is up 2.7%, whereas Bitcoin is down 0.1%, so basically flat. Um, so good to see some strength. We'll see if that continues. Um, Notably, mention Don like every single week, basically, but he's my favorite person to follow because he's been so dead on with macro and kind of some of these bigger coins price movement. But Don says that he's interested in ETH and like the first time in years, essentially because of how much strength it's been showing. So maybe there's a chance we get a nice little ETH run for like basically the first time this entire cycle. That would be nice to see some strength there, as it affects a lot of different ecosystems. If ETH can show some nice price appreciation, that's good to see over on the ETH front. You guys have anyone had any takes or anything you want to add on like macro stuff or Bitcoin or ETH or how we're looking there?
I hope it pumps.
Same. THC there? Might have lost him. Cool. We can move on. Um,
Yo, check, check. Mic check.
yeah,
There we go. How's my quality on a scale from 1 to Genzo right now?
it's not bad.
All right, sweet. My whole power in my house just flickered off and on. It was very bizarre. My computer went black, turned off, and then it turned right back on to end Discord, but it wasn't real. Everything was fake. I don't know. I just on my so I'm outside. I'm
Must be I
fine.
heard us talking about Russia, trying to push that down.
Seriously, I've never seen a piece of technology do what just happened. So that was very bizarre. But hey, we're back. We're back.
Had to scrub your computer real quick.
They're on to
But
me.
yeah, I was just saying I was just asking if anyone had thoughts on Soul E stuff. No one really did. So
Oh yeah, I was waiting for you to stop. I was going to give you some props, some kudos. I mean, you did a really good job articulating, identifying the opportunity and the pattern. And yeah, I know it still has more time to play out, so TBD there. But just the call on the ETH, the inflows, and they were so negative. It's a really hard time to kind of make that call. But I mean, you just compared it to Bitcoin and kind of extrapolated out that we'd probably see the similar play out. And so far, you're on the money. So I just wanted to give you flowers there for that call because it's a hard one to make when the inflows were so negative or the outflows were so high. But it's yeah, good call, man.
thank you, appreciate that. Yeah, I haven't really made any money from it, but I get those call points at least. So I'll take that.
Oh my god, I got re-rugged. Hopefully, I got through most of that. But yeah, good shit.
No, you're good. You're good. I heard you. Yeah, man. I didn't. Unfortunately, I wasn't right on my Bitcoin price guess though that you gave me.
You know what? Yeah. So we were at 55 when we did the show, and you said under. But as I said right when you said it, a week's a long time. A lot of things can happen, and we went under pretty strongly to your credit. But yeah, I said we'd check on today. Of course, today we're at 60K. So what's up with you, man? Are you just a perma bear? What's your deal?
I did say I was very not confident in that guess. So you had great assault. Give me a new line this week.
All right, let's go with. I don't want to influence too much, and I don't want it to be too easy. Let's go with 62K
Ooh,
over or
that's
under.
that's a good number. If you were gonna say 60K, I was gonna say like for sure over, but 62 is a little tougher. I'm gonna go over still. I'm feeling good.
All right, there we go. Trying to make up for your past sins. Let's see if it plays out.
Yeah,
Looks like my power and Wi-Fi are back up. I'm gonna try to make the transition back. Wish me luck.
we'll give THC a second here.
It looks good. Hey, check, check.
Oh yeah. Oh, sound
Oh, we are
crisp
back.
and clear.
Let's go. All right, we made it. We made it. Time to scrub all my files.
Yeah, man. I think we can move on from macro stuff here. I did another topic. I don't have a ton on this. More of like this is more like I'm bringing it up for like a theory type of discussion. which I personally enjoy. But I want to talk a little bit about Sui, SUI. It's been, you might have, if you've been on crypto Twitter recently, you've probably seen people talk about it. And that's because the price has gone up about over 100% in the past week, um, which is substantial for how large of a market cap it is. It's it's one of these. If you're not familiar with Sui, don't worry. I don't think ton of people are. It's kind of like one of these new L1 plays. That's only been around for about a year or so. I think just a little bit longer than a year. Um, and it's supposed to be, like one of those. Now, like they used to call them ETH killers. Now it's like since Sol has really established themselves, it's a lot of these are like called the Soul killers. They're kind of just going for what's next up, and it's one of those similar ones with high speeds, high transaction speeds. Anyway, like I'm bringing it up because I think that we saw last cycle, at least during the bowl, that some of these plays, I think it was like last cycle was like Terra Luna was one of the big ones. Obviously that didn't end well. Um, Soul itself was one that really saw a pretty big price appreciation. Trying to remember a couple off my head, like Kanto. I mean, even though it wasn't like I think it was maybe it was a. I can't even remember if Kanto was supposed to be L1 or L2. It doesn't really matter. I think it was L1, then it transitioned to L2 is what it was. Um,
We're
but
about to
basically, we
say,
saw like these other chains. Yeah, yeah. Sorry for bringing up Kanto, by the way. I know there's some tough memories there. Um, but basically, what I'm saying is, I think like there's opportunity here. Even if you don't believe in these type of like L1 plays long term, like their viability, I think during a cycle, there's like always this narrative that gets pushed as like the next big blockchain. And I think the fact that if a chain were to be able to reach those heights, it means like there's huge potential there, right? Which with that hope, at least that's something that people can sell, and that can lead to opportunities, at least in like the short to midterm, while it gets attention from the broader ecosystem, and could last, for at least for like a cycle. So I think Sui has a chance now that it's starting to. I'm not saying Sui is like the one that's going to. I really haven't looked into it enough to be able to say. I just know that's the one that's getting talked about right now. Um, I listened to like a real quick explainer on this. So if anyone's like a Sui, or at least knows a little bit about Sui, I would love to hear from them. But my kind of like very quick background on it is that it is supposed to be like a more developer friendly blockchain. It uses I don't know anything about this, but it uses the Move programming language, which I guess is a change, which is supposed to be like kind of more flexible, more attractive for developers to build on the chain. It comes from, I'm not sure exactly what the connection is here, but apparently it comes from the Facebook team, or Meta now. Um, and it's only been around for about a year now. It's really not too diluted. It has a really high, I think it's like 25% circulating supply. So there's a lot left to be diluted. I think there's some pretty big unlocks. I'm seeing like $55 million of unlocks on September 1. But yeah, I'm bringing it up because I think in general, like these type of new blockchain plays can be really good asymmetric opportunity. Like I really like looking at. I think that's kind of like where a lot of my big wins in crypto have been. Is these like new ecosystems, basically where um it's this whole it's a lot of it like it presents opportunity if you're able to get in early on whatever the top meme or the top project or top airdrop opportunity. There's some really nice gains to be had if attention does end up like really shifting, and valuations start skyrocketing just simply because of the speculation that is attached. This hope of potential is attached to these different ecosystems. So I personally like it because there's less like a lot of times there's less competition, there's less tooling involved. They're kind of more nascent ecosystem, so there's not a lot of infrastructure built, which makes it usually more like clunky and harder to navigate and really dig through. But if you're willing to do that kind of work and you're willing to track and um you're willing to like at least put in the time to figure out, I guess, some edges, either from like a technological standpoint or from like an informational standpoint, where you're able to like find info that not a lot of other people are able to find, just because of like the work that you put in to get into like a certain Telegram chat or whatever it may be, or talk to the team member or whatever it may be. I think can lead to some really nice opportunities that a lot of times don't require as much capital up front. So I just wanted to at least point out that like type of strategy, because I think that's one of those that's really beneficial, just in crypto in general, because there are so many new things popping up all the time. If you're able to kind of like figure out um, what could possibly be, or what can possibly gain more attraction in the future, and you're able to get into that early, and get into the most deeply entrenched communities within the ecosystem early on, then it can lead to pretty nice asymmetric gains if you're able to allocate well. So that's generally what I want to talk about regards Sui. I did just post about or just reopen their the thread for it. Let me see.
Yeah, well said, man. Beautifully put. I like you said a chance of hope. Um, I think that, yeah, and then you said at the end there, this kind of applies to the whole market. I think that could be crypto's new motto, just a chance of hope. It's really all we need. What more could you ask for? I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought up Sui. I'm glad you said Sui out loud, because earlier when you put it in chat, I fired up my Compass wallet. I went to Pallet Exchange. I was checking my NFTs. I was rocking with the Dobbs. I was like, we're so back. Before I realized that is Say, and that is a
Oh
different
yeah. Very
three-letter
confusing.
blockchain that starts with S and ends with I.
Yes.
So very fun for me to realize that was the wrong wallet. So now I've reactivated my Sui wallet and checked the price of the shit coins I have on there, and they're worth 5 cents each. So total. So yeah, I've got like 10 cents in the wallet. We're balling out on Sui. Let's go. But yeah, I'm glad that you brought it. You talked through it, and I realized the error of my ways. I was like, what is going on? It says the Sui token is $1 and Dobbs are 200 Sui floor, but it says $60. What's happening?
Yeah,
Completely different.
super confusing. Those blockchains are very close in the same name. It's funny actually. I think I think that also might play into like I think people buy say when Sui pumps, and maybe the vice versa as well. I'm looking at my like portfolio of like watched coins. I have like like 15 or so different coins on here, and like Sui is the highest for the 24-hour, like in terms of percent gained, and then Say is the second highest. So I don't know
Oh
if
my
it's just like
god.
getting a pump just because people like don't understand the difference, or
The name proximity, yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it doesn't get much closer than that. They're one letter apart, and the beginning and end, which is kind of what humans scan for, are the same. So, oof, yeah, that's a nice little route for them, though. Whichever one isn't working as hard, it's a nice gig for them.
yeah, just to kind of like expand a little bit more on the on that point of finding opportunities with these ecosystems. I think some things that I would look for. Again, I haven't done this on the Sui stuff. I haven't really dug in enough to like have any type of conviction on this ecosystem. But I'd say if I was looking, I would look for stuff. I would look for like first and foremost, I'd look for like whatever the most hardcore community is within that certain ecosystem is. That's usually people who are continuing to build and continuing to like bull post about these um, products within the ecosystem, regardless of what the price is, and if they and the fact that they've been doing it for like the longer that they've been doing it for is more bullish. So if they've been doing it for like over a year now since It looks like Sui launched, at least its token launched in like May of 2023, so it's been around for about a year and a few months. Um, then that itself would be very bullish too. Um, so that's probably the main thing I look at, and then given that Sui is, it looks like it's now number 33 on like the largest market caps. It's a $10 billion FDV. That kind of leaves a nice amount of room for um, other ecosystem projects if they were to launch a token, airdrop opportunities. Usually, when the main L1 runs, then there's some nice opportunities for speculation on, basically what it would be is kind of like beta plays, but applications or projects that are building on that specific ecosystem. So I would look at, maybe if there's like a top meme coin on there, or if there's top projects or airdrop opportunities, again, that have that deeply entrenched community, those would probably be the ones that would be most interesting to me. If you are kind of looking for opportunities, again, I don't really know. I can't give you specific ones right now. I haven't looked into it myself. But that's just in general what I would look for.
I can throw out one, and this is a wild one. Yeah, NFA, don't take my word for it, but like the ecosystems I've been kind of keeping an eye on would be Ton, Tycho, and Monad. Just kind of waiting for Monad to do something. But with Tycho, they only have 2 collections. There's the Genesis collection that came from their team. It was a free mint. We had like a partnership with them. A lot of members got that. It's at about 0.45 ETH floor. It's very low key because they don't really have a marketplace. It's on OKX marketplace. The link is in the folks discussion if you want to check it out. But it's a very small collection size, like very, very small. There's only like 13 listed or something just crazy like that. But it is the Genesis collection from its own blockchain. So that's pretty neat. And there's one other collection worth noting. It's Taikonauts. They're just like pixel art, sort of like fan community, but it's like $10. The floor is like very, very low, just because there's no like Tycho marketplace yet. Like it's hard to find these things. But if you go on OKX marketplace, you could search Tycoons and Taikonauts, and those would be 2 collections that are in the Tycho ecosystem prior to it having like a marketplace and like a big push and rollout and stuff. Again, I don't know if these are going to necessarily do well. These are just ones that I know of. You said you didn't have any off the top of your head, so I want to at least throw one out. And then, whenever Monad does decide to launch, that Genesis collection will probably be pretty tantalizing as well.
Love it. Yeah, thanks for the addition. Yeah, anything else? Anything else on Sui? Anyone from the community or just in general, we're talking about with new ecosystem opportunities?
These tycoons look so bad as well. It's probably not helping them, but I don't think that's the point. It's a good though for anybody that won the mission and got the free mint. GG's.
You got anything else on the docket, THC?
Not particularly. I mean, 2 news items that sort of caught my eye, but I don't really have the full details or a take, but I could at least throw them out, see if there's anything you're interested in or if anybody from the audience wants to jump in. But we did get, it seems, an announcement for Blast Gold, an update for phase 2 or season 2, whatever is happening in Blast World. Was curious if there was any shocking revelations there, or any takes, or if if it made the waves or anything, or if it was just kind of a nothing announcement. But figured we did spend like a month and a half just talking about Blast Gold. So if new information came out, figured it might be newsworthy. But if not, can move on.
Yeah, I haven't done any Blast stuff.
I was just about to say, it sounds like everybody exited the Blast train. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to really get motivated for that when the price itself has not been doing well. And then also it's like the season isn't over for like what, a year? It's like
Yeah. That's rough. All right. Well, here, I'll read the TLDR here. Blast announced 11 million gold will be distributed to dApps in the second gold distribution of phase 2. 10 million gold reserved for existing dApps on Blast mainnet 1 million gold for newly launched dApps. New policy, dApps can now allocate gold directly to assets, subject to the Blast Foundation's approval. They have a culture category, a new experimental category, 50,000 gold, and NFT projects, or token projects get 50K, NFT projects get 25K. Yeah, it seems like a nothing burger. So they're just announcing more of their gold trickling out, trying to keep this thing alive.
Yeah, I do use one still. IKB I like because they have fantasy stuff, and there's no fee or no rake on their contest, which is really nice. So I'll probably continue to use them. But besides that,
Sounds good. The only other thing I saw was just an article saying that Magic Eden changed their Twitter account, their Magic Eden Foundation Twitter account. They changed their name to just $ME, so ticker ME. I don't know if that opens the door for any speculation or anything or time frame. I mean, I know we're all waiting around for it, but could juice the market a little bit. Everybody loves free money airdrops. Maybe people will love NFTs again for like 6 hours. You never know.
oh yeah, speaking of on that front, check time sensitive. I think Floppa just posted this, but D-Bridge launched their airdrop claim. So make sure to at least check their claim to your wallet for it's not live yet, but you can go in and claim and sign for it right now. Um, I don't know. It seems like it's not going to be worth that much based on early estimates, but might as well check. I've been using them. That's like my favorite bridge to use for like cross chain ETH to Solana type stuff because it like does it basically instantly, which is pretty cool. And in between the L2s as well. It's not like crazy fee usually, especially if you're going like USD to US or USDC to USDC. That's usually like the best route I found.
You ever just get the random feeling that we're just overdue for like a fat airdrop? Not like a product airdrop that you farmed and it did well or disappointed or whatever, but just like one of those ones that just applies to everybody. It's like, hey, here's some money. Feels like it's been a while since we had one of those.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know. It's been a long time, I feel like. I mean, we had a good amount of those in in what 2021. We had like the ENS one, we had Blur, we had what SOS,
Yeah,
maybe a
yeah,
couple
just
other.
yeah.
Yeah, where all of those were pretty nice and applied to a lot of people.
Yeah, anything that was volume based was just phenomenal, and we ate very well. Maybe not to that degree, but I guess that would be cool. Yeah, just projects that just are like, hey, you've been active here, get started. Instead of hey, use our app for 6 months and maybe we'll post a tweet about the tokens. Tough.
Yeah, maybe still waiting on that MetaMask and that OpenSea token, huh?
There we go. Yep, I'll hang my top hat on
It'll never
those for
happen.
sure. It would retire all of us, or they'd say, hey, only the last 6 months qualify, and we'll be like just fully rugged.
Yeah, that's something OpenSea would do.
All right, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to ask. Just I randomly get that feeling. It's like, man, feels like it's about time for an airdrop, but that sense of entitlement that Web3 gives you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't really have a ton else on the docket. Just a couple quick shout outs, I'd say, for places to look. Fantasy football season starting up, drafts are starting up. We got a lot of nice analysis and breaking down, latest news and stuff over in the DFS betting in fantasy sports threads, one of our most active threads in MVHQ here. If you are starting to draft a team or whatever, want any help or any advice or at least bounce off some feedback on what your draft is, come hang with us over there. Also, shitcoin chat. I called it out last time, but the shitcoin thread's doing well here in MVHQ. There's been some nice bangers, with some really nice hits lately over the past week or two. Um, there's not like a lot of like really big runners, I'd say, but the ones that there have been, I feel like we've done a pretty good job of catching them early on so far. And I think, as long as macro trends up as well, as long as Bitcoin start trending up, that's going to help people want to take more risk in the shitcoin streets too, and should provide a better environment, hopefully. But yeah, there's a lot of good calls over there. If you want to get in the streets, just obviously be careful. It's super high risk, high reward type stuff over there.
Yeah, that's my problem. Is my bankroll just can't keep up with it. The wins are big wins, but just the hit rate, is just not. It's not above 50%. So you're gonna be losing if you're trying to play everything. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, word of caution. Big wins are gotten, but you gotta have the persistence and the bankroll to make it through the losses.
Yeah, I'd say that I found shitcoins to be something that's like it takes time to like there takes like an acclimation period. I'd say like maybe like a week or two of like being in the trenches of even if you have done it before, you know, there's like a lot of new stuff like constantly changing, like the environment and like what the current trends are and stuff like that. That usually if you're trying to get back into it, I would say like it probably takes like a week or two of probably not as good performance before you start to really get in the hang of like uh what like the real like runners are. So I'd say if you are like just jumping back in, I would do so. I would recommend not going crazy by any means with
Yeah.
capital. Yeah.
I'd consider myself at some point. I was probably intermediate to advanced with the shitcoins. I'm back to beginner now. Like you're saying, man, the floor moves out from under your feet. It's like you got to keep up.
Yeah.
Pretty much, I reside to when I get a ping, and then I do get a ping and I buy it and then sell it down 80% and then it pumps 16x.
Yeah.
Kamala. So yeah, it's not for me. It's not for me, I think. But kudos to the people that do have the temperament and the patience and the determination to see it through, because that's where big gains are gotten. I want to shout out one other thing too. The app we have a mission right now. It's popping off. I think our most recent one was probably the Tycho one that popped off to this degree, but the Union testnet mission is doing numbers. It's a free mint, so it's like a testnet type deal. You do have to go through two faucets, or a faucet and two bridges. So it's a little wonky at first, but once you get it going, I mean, the faucet just prints. So there's like doesn't really seem to be much stopping you from farming the Union testnet if that's something what you want to do. We got 16K participants, 105,000 mints. Again, these are Sepolia, so it's all testnet, but definitely good exposure for both our app, the platform as a whole, and also Union. If you want to get exposure to Union, it's in a partnership with Arbitrum and stuff. So again, a little wonky on the steps, but once you get it going, it's very easy. So if you guys wanted to knock that out, it is available for the next 10 days. Pretty much all I got. That's all I got for the week.
Yeah.
Happy
Great
to
job.
appreciate it. Yeah, happy to take a break if anybody has any questions or topics or news items or anything like that.
What
Get
up,
to
guys?
'em. GM, what up, Blessed?
What up,
GM,
Les?
not much. Just wondering, Jake and TopHatCat, do you guys use Alpha Gardeners?
Do not know.
No.
I've
Don't
heard
either.
heard good things though from them.
Yep. Yep. I never used it, and I had Consortium Key for a little while. And just with these groups, it's like these indicators and alerts that you get. It's really like, there's no teamwork, there's no like real calls. It's like you got to use all these like alerts for yourself and learn how to like, do the work yourself with them. And I just didn't know if like Alpha Gardener was better than Consortium Key, if they work together, if they actually share alpha, if the indicators are worth it, and then like how you apply them.
Yeah, I can't speak on elk gardens myself. Yeah, maybe if you ask in the shitcoin chat, someone will be able to help you. I think JJ might have at least it maybe is now still, or I think he at least used to be an elf gardener, so maybe he could get some color there.
Yeah,
Um,
and it really just seems like, like, these indicators and, like, alerts and, like, things that come through in the channels with, like, the honeypot indicator and all that. It's just like it really just seems like you gotta be good with understanding the data that comes through, right?
yeah,
And it's like everybody's trying to hit that 100x or 200x, but it's not that common, and it's a lot harder than what people make it out to seem. So just for myself, I haven't had much success with shitcoins. I want to get better. I want to understand it more, but at the same time, it's like, it's a lot of time consuming where it's like you got to learn it yourself, and like things happen so fast, right?
yeah. It's definitely not for everyone. I'd say like you said, like you do need to put some time into it to understand kind of like what the best tooling is, like you said, as well as like what the meta is, what people are looking for. I'd say two tools that I really recommend if you are getting involved are like number one is definitely BullX. That's like my favorite. I think that's what a lot of like the top traders use as well. Is like it's basically just like a trading bot. but you can do it on your browser. You like use your Telegram to log into it. And they support, like every chain basically, like Sol, ETH, Base, all those, kind of all into one, and it is a really good like graphs, has like limit buys and sells, has, gives you like really detailed like holder information, like how much the dev hold, when's the dev sells, all that kind of stuff. Pretty similar to Photon. Photon's good too, but I like BullX a little bit better.
Yep.
And then if you're tracking wallets, CIELO is a good one. CIELO. And they have a free wallet tracker where you can like put in a wallet basically, and it'll ping you in like a Telegram chat. Whether whenever they like swap for something, if you're doing the wallet tracking thing too.
Yep. And are you like, is there a system or is there a way to like go to Dex Tools, see the contract, see like the most profitable wallets from like, a shitcoin that really popped off and see like, and then like track those wallets? Is there like a system there to it?
Yeah, you can do that in BullX actually, where you just look up the coin and there's like a tab in that coin, like right next to holders. It says top traders, and it'll literally give you like a list by P&L of the best wallets for that specific coin.
And does that work, Jake? Like, do you do that?
I don't much. I do. I have started to a little bit more. I think that's honestly like a weakness of mine. I think that is a good thing to do. I'm pretty sure JJ does. I see JJ join us now. I think he does that and has had some success there. But I'm more of like I see like a meme that I like that I think could catch on, and it doesn't seem like a rug. That's kind of like more what I try to play it. But it is helpful too to know kind of who's in, if there are some bigger influencers or some really good traders in there.
Yep. And are you like sniping tokens? Like when you see them launch, are you trying to get in? Are you kind of waiting until after they're like vetted and then you're like waiting for the dip and then you're going to trade that token?
No, I don't snipe. I'd say like my favorites are like tokens that have been around at least like a few hours, like a minimum, to see if they've like latched on or gotten any type of community formed, and like the dev hasn't rugged yet. Um, and to see if like it has like an actual community forming around it. So usually around like from like the 100K to like under a million area is like probably like my favorite time to enter.
Nice. Nice. That's good info.
Yeah, man, for sure. JJ, I saw you're here now. I know Bless had a question about alpha gardeners. I don't know if you use that anymore. You find it helpful?
Yo, yo.
Oh, yo.
I haven't used that in a long time, but I'm pretty sure it's really good in this meta. But
Nice.
I think curating your own wallets is probably better, even though it's like it'll be hit or miss for a while. But like a lot of this soul stuff is very like PvP, and it just goes to zero. Like there's like one coin right now that's running Banda, and it's going really crazy. I can't tell if it's an insider coin or like a crash coin. So if you've ever played Crash on Rollbit, there's like these coins where like a rugger will deploy a coin and then like run it up, and eventually it goes to zero, but people just kind of gamble on it, like Crash on Rollbit. So
Oh, no way.
yeah. So
Now I get it. Yeah.
it's like at 5 mil right now, but like it could have rugged at any time. But yeah, I mean it could be an insider one, but yeah, I think that's a big advantage. But I think to me, Jake's approach is probably like the safest or the best way, just like catching a narrative and bidding it.
Yeah. Yep. Thanks for that, JJ.
No problem.
Yeah, so like can you be shitcoining and not have any indicators and like alerts like Alpha Gardeners or Consortium Key, or do you need all that stuff? Or does Bull X have all that stuff now? Like I'm just trying to get caught up here and understand like everything.
Uh, those things don't have it, but I'd say that's probably the good approach to take if you're here all the time. Like I think if you're in the trenches and tracking wallets and stuff, that stuff is really only helpful if you're like here 20 hours a day or something, because you know shit coining within the trenches, like these things go to zero so fast on a dime. And so the ones that like Jake likes to invest in, those are like multi-day, even like week long plays, so you don't really have to worry about that. most of the time because it can still happen, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, like if you're tracking wallets, you're usually trying to track insiders or like I hate to say it, but like pumper and dumpers, and try to like front run them a bit, or like sometimes they'll have like insane alpha or insane inside information that you can front run, but like
Very cool.
yeah, I'd say like again, it's only worth it if you're here pretty much all the time. If you're not, just you don't need any of those indicators, I think, and you can just like stick to bidding what you see on Twitter or like wait, like Jake posts theses from time to time, and those are really good. Um, I kind of missed this Ulu one. I wish I looked into it more, but that one I
Same.
think was a good. Like I didn't realize it was also like a shitcoin platform, and like people are kind of sick of pump fun right now, so that was like a good counter meta play, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, like there's a lot of these long term things, and the trackers I think are only really good for like new pairs. I'd say.
Very cool. And like when somebody posts a contract address and shitcoins and they pull up like all that data, are they just basically like showing what they're in? Or
Um, Usually, sometimes like if you go into the shitcoin meme coin channel, sometimes like we'll just post something that's funny, right? And maybe we're not in it yet, or like I think most of the time people in there post like why they like it, or like they'll say like they'll post a ticker and be like I'm not in or don't ape or something,
yeah. Yeah.
just
That makes sense.
yeah. But most of the time, like I said, it's like new pairs a lot in there.
Yeah. Like are you is there any like more popular shitcoins or meme coins that you guys are like waiting for the dip for and trading?
I like Ulu a lot. I mean, I'm not in, but it's just kind of parabolic. I know Jake has had like W Dog. I think that's really good, and like Banana Tape Wall. That's good too.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I tend to I tend to try to be more degen and gamble a bit more. So that's why I'm like in the new pairs and stuff. But um, honestly, I think better ROI is in the longer term stuff, conviction play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. Ooh is on my list of stuff to look into today, just because I looked at the website briefly and I thought it looked interesting, but I wish I would have dug into it more, like you said, JJ, because I saw people talking about it, but I didn't really understand what it was.
Yeah, and then the whole airdrop thing, right? Like that kind of good distribution, right? It's so like I think
Uh,
in hindsight, all the metrics were there, but there's like a play every week or two, blessed like just a giga mooner. So as long
Jeez.
as long as
It's
you're just paying attention, you'll catch something eventually.
very cool. And like for yourself, JJ, I know you're super freaking smart, badass trader. Have you caught one of those yet? Or are you just still chasing?
Yeah, I've got a couple. Obviously, given a lot back, also because of the trenches, right?
Mhm.
Um, Sometimes you'll catch a narrative, or and Jake knows this really well, right? Like, you'll ape new tickers. It's like the chosen narrative, but there's like some epic PvP. Like there'll be like four other tickers of the same name, and you just chose the wrong one, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or
Yep.
like they just rug, or like it turns
Been
out that
brutal.
it's a scam, right? So there's definitely a lot of risk even if you catch the right thing.
How about like big news breaks, right? Like you want to be ready for like a big news break,
Yeah.
hoping, right?
So like Nero was one I think like I wasn't here for, I was like traveling, but I think Jake was here and caught that, and a bunch of others. But that was one example of like this PvP narrative, right? The Dogecoin
Mhm.
dog owner got a new dog, and the name was Nero. And so that was like a huge thing. And if he caught the right one early, I think it went straight to like 80 mil before coming back. Um, and then the ETH one ended up winning, right? Which is the funny part because there are like three or four soul ones that were just like PvPing each other. And so
Yeah.
yeah, like it's a lot harder to get the right one these days because there'll be
Yeah.
multiple.
And then Jake, I thought I saw you put something in shitcoin chat the other day, just asking about like your front running, and did you need to like put a bigger like pay out to the miner a bigger bribe. Did you ever figure that out?
Oh, yeah, how is it getting mev'd on Sol? I actually have not. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I
Gotcha.
have the mev production turned on for Sol, and I still getting mev'd, which is annoying. But I think what I've done to kind of mitigate that is just do like smaller buys, but just like DCA in, so I don't really have to worry about it that much, and also lower my slippage.
Gotcha. Okay,
So
cool.
it's
Yeah,
under
I
the
saw
mev
that.
threshold.
I was like, man, I would love to know what the answer is to that. But yeah, that's really cool, man. It's like a whole new world with all this shit coins, and it's definitely the meta. It's like, I don't know if you guys have any feel on like, or just like the same feeling everybody else has on NFTs and just sitting on the sidelines waiting and not knowing.
Yeah, like I think we talked about this last time. I think there'll be an NFT bounce at some point. I think Ordinals has a better use case right now, or better holder base, whatever. Right. Definitely more of a flex. I think ETH NFTs are no longer a flex. Like even punks are maybe just like kind of by the wayside, in my opinion. But there'll be like different branches like Bless, gaming, that'll probably come back, right? And so those NFTs. Um, I saw like a few cooks I missed in like the last week, like some Moonfrost game or some other ones I just wasn't like plugged in on. But I think anything with the token still will do okay. But yeah, I think memes are just here to stay, like Pump Fun and like things like it just made the user experience a lot better, in my opinion. Even though there's like a lot of rugs and scams and whatever, it's just think it's a lot easier to ape as compared to before, like back in even January. Like, because you're just aping blind before.
Mhm. Yep. And that's cool to hear that there were still some wins on ETH and crypto gaming.
Yeah, it's shocking, right? But
Mhm.
I think anything with the token's still good, and then you'll eventually get a rotation back. Just
Yeah.
too much money in that to not be.
Yep.
It-
Yep.
Yeah. I'm in agreement. I think NFTs will have their time eventually. I'm largely like haven't been trading like any NFTs. It's just there's more opportunity, it seems, in the meme coin area right now. And so I'll probably just I'm not gonna I think I'll try and like front run the NFT narrative. I'll wait to see it play out a bit before really starting to divert attention back there. But 'cause it's been a long time.
It
So
has.
far.
It
It's been
really
quite a
has
long
been.
time. But
Yep.
I'm sure there's still like some spots, especially like JJ was saying, like I think on the gaming front, it's probably like one of the best ones, where there's been some opportunities.
Yeah, I hope so. I know a lot of us have, some investments in some gaming tokens, so definitely would love to see, like, crypto gaming make a comeback. And, um, and yeah, like, just hoping crypto gaming NFTs can get some volume again.
Yeah, but I gotta say, like Jake probably joined the trenches, like really seriously, like a week ago or so, and he found like two mooners like right away. It was kind of crazy.
Of course he did, bro. Fucking Jake, bro. I
Oh,
remember when
JJ's
lit
JJ's ahead of me, right? I'm pretty sure. Hey man, I gotta give JJ props too. He's been posting some really good ones too. There's like a this Rick bot like gives gives you like server stats basically on how like well the coins that you posted doing. And like, it'll like give like a ranking too. I think JJ's
Oh, no
like
way.
meeting the ranking.
It,
Damn, that's pretty cool.
Jake
That's
Yeah.
dope.
papers less than I do though, so
So you guys, like, get your money back right away, though? Like, is that the name of the game? Like, if you do have, like, pick a good one, you wanna get, like, your initials back as fast as possible?
I think it depends. Like, um, if it's a really really good narrative and it's like I think Jake said like around the 1 mil area, like I think you kind of want to let it ride. But if
Mhm.
it's like, in the degen range, like 60K, 30K, like I think you want to take your initial out pretty quickly.
Yeah,
Just because,
Yeah.
anything, five other coins could come out with the same name or something, or, the guy's a
I agree.
scammer or whatever.
right, and that 30 to 60 range is like, is that new pairs?
Yeah, yeah. Probably even like less than 500K, I'd say. Like you probably want to take out pretty quickly unless you put really little size. Like there's two ways to play that, right? Like if you put really little size, then you don't care about it going to zero, then whatever, right?
Mhm.
But if you put like size, then you just want to take it out kind of early, I think.
Yep. What about the other like, how about, like, Wizard of Soho? Is he still, like, grinding meme coins and, like, pumping meme coins, and, like, is his group good? You know, like, or is there really, like, a cabal for the meme coins or what?
I think amongst like the trench warriors, they make fun of like Soho and people like him, but at the same
Really?
time, yeah, he is Cabal, right? And
Uh-huh.
so like these people do have clout in terms of like how they push things, but yeah, like amongst trench warriors, they'll like meme him, but you know, at least on Solana, I find you probably want to be in those coins more often than not, like the the Cabal pushed ones, just 'cause
Right.
the
Yep.
volume on Sol dries up so quick compared to
Damn.
ETH, right?
Yep.
Like you can see things go to 10 mil and then back to like 2 mil. It's like insanity.
Mhm. So, no signs of slowing down on meme coins, like, meme coins are here, and, like, were the cycles this long before, man? You know, like, it's just brutal for someone that doesn't trade meme coins at all, you know?
I mean, yeah, if you look at like previous, like 2017 was like the big up run up, right? And then it was 2021. So that's 4 years. So if you think about it, like the big run up, if it was again 4 years, that would be 2025. So I mean, yeah, I think it does take time
Yeah.
uh, for a lot of this stuff to. I think with especially with how big of the class was and how public it was, of like what the public perceives of crypto with FTX stuff and like being like one of the biggest Ponzi's in like the history of the world. Um, then I think like there's a lot of sentiment to be that's gonna need to be regained, I guess, positive sentiment from the public to for them to like want to dip their toes back in. Like a ton of people got burned. So I
Mhm.
think that in itself is like naturally just gonna take time.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And I will say like with the coins, it's very, very easy to just get bored in degen, and I don't think you necessarily need to do that. Like you could probably just check in like a couple times a week and see what's the narrative and see if you agree and bid those.
That's
Like,
cool.
I think
Yep.
I've lost the most being bored and like just DJing. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you
Yep.
know, it's like fuck. I'm sitting here like for an hour and I just want to feel something. You know.
Right. Yep. Jake, are you still leverage trading?
In occasional spots, but hasn't been great. Hasn't been a great environment for it. It's been real choppy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's better when everything's going up.
Right. Right. For sure.
Yeah, well, I mean that's all I had as far as like show portion. THC, I don't know if you have anything else. We could probably wrap it up and still obviously continue convo, but
Yeah, works works for me. Excuse me. Yeah, appreciated the conversation, fellas. Digging a little deeper into the shitcoin trenches. So very much appreciated. But yeah, we'll go ahead and cut things here for another episode of Wake and Jake. We'll see you guys next week at 12 Eastern. Also see you at 5 Eastern for some Boss Dogs action. You're not going to want to miss that one. So appreciate everybody being here. We'll keep the conversation going in VC if everybody wants to hang out. But other than that, we'll see you next week.